Hey, how you guys doing? Welcome back. Honestly, guys, this is not the video that I wanted to make today. I actually had something completely different in mind of what I wanted to upload, and we're going to talk about that later, but here we are uploading this today because it's a little bit more important. It's a little bit more pressing. So the format of this video is going to be a little bit more off the cuff. I'm just going to be speaking from the heart and really just having a discussion with you guys. PUBG has got a serious problem, and when I mean serious, I don't use that in any light sense. I won't even lie to you guys. I've been getting extremely frustrated with the game recently for a multitude of different reasons, in which we're going to talk about all of these, but a lot of that has been also reflected in my comment section. I feel many players are getting very frustrated with this game as well, and they're projecting it onto me. And to some degree, I understand that, right? Like, if you're frustrated with this game, the first place you're going to complain about it is likely in my comment section where other people and I are going to see it. So as of recently, I don't really get particularly upset when somebody leaves like a vicious comment about me or the game on my channel, because I kind of understand where they're coming from at this point, and I also want to kind of vent out what my frustrations are right now. This isn't really going to be a rant video, but I want to make sure I preface this when we talk about the issues that we need to speak upon. The reason why I encourage you guys to leave comments every time we have a discussion like this is because the feedback you give genuinely gets listened to and at least taken into account. Obviously, as an individual, I have my own opinions on how the game should be ran, but I always open up the discussion to everyone else because I like to see, multiple different points of view, and I think that's the best way to get a good product overall when it comes to the quality of this game. And PUBG's problem right now is not at all that they don't listen to feedback. In fact, I think they probably are the best developers as far as the games that I've experienced that listen to community feedback, and you get some sort of indicator that they're doing so. I think one of the biggest problems that desperately needs to be addressed is the fact that new content, when being developed, is not being handled properly at all. For example, did you know an entire new game mode came out for PUBG the other day? No? Probably not, because it wasn't announced very well. I honestly check this game every day, and I wasn't even aware of it until a little bit later on. And you might ask yourself, okay, what is this new mode? Well, it's called Bluehole, and it's part of PUBG Labs. Now, the game mode of Bluehole, I would love to show you guys what it's all about, and this is the crux of the problem I'm talking about. Today's video was actually going to be playing through Bluehole and getting a first impressions on the match, because it has a really interesting rule set, which I'll explain in a second, but unfortunately, I can't show you guys any gameplay because when I went on to go record this mode, you're met with 50-minute queue times. That is absolutely unacceptable. Honestly, I think the 50 minutes is just a placeholder anyways, and even if I had waited there for an hour, I really don't think I would even still find a game. And this is incredibly annoying because I really wanted to show you guys this game mode. A lot of people who watch the channel want to stay up to date with everything new with PUBG, and I feel like if I'm not doing that, then I'm not doing my job, but I physically can't even show you this. The best I can do is explain it and tell you guys what it's about. Bluehole pretty much plays out as regular BR with a couple of twisted rules. So for example, there's only 64 players instead of 100. There is slightly more consistent loot across the entire board, so it's a little bit more like the PGC rule settings. But the interesting thing here is that you can't really camp in the middle of the zone anymore because there is an extra blue zone that is in the center of the current safe zone. So you kind of get like this crescent moon safe zone every single time the zone pops, and then this extra inner zone goes away during the final circle. But the idea is that this would prevent people from simply camping out until the final zone. It's supposed to spice up the gameplay a little bit, and I'm absolutely all for that, right? We've never seen this in PUBG before, having an outer ring and an inner ring all inside one safe zone. It's really different, right? I don't know how well this would actually affect the gameplay, if it would be fun or not. And to be honest, it doesn't even really matter. It could be a terrible game mode, but at least it's something different. It's something new, and I think a lot of people weren't even aware of this and would like to at least see it once. And this is just indicative of the larger picture. The bigger problem is not that they're not making new content. That's not even remotely the issue. They make new content almost all the time, but the problem is the distribution of this content means almost 0% of the player base ever gets to try this stuff out, or at least experience it in the way that it was intended. Case in point, the spike strips. Now, it is, I guess, 2.5 weeks, maybe a little bit more, since the spike strips have hit the game, and I still still have not seen a single one of these items. In fact, I found more flare guns than I have spike strips. And I'm not entirely sure why that is. Maybe I'm just incredibly unlucky. Maybe the spawn rate for this is just so. Maybe it is rarer than the flare gun. I have no idea. A lot of you guys in my comments, people on Twitch I've seen, have not seen a single one either, even though they do exist. These were developed and showed off as one of the main points of the new Season 5 drop, and they're a genuinely interesting item, but no one ever gets to experience them hardly. And while we're talking about what players experience, I think it's time we also talk about maps. When it comes to map selection, again, this is an absolute mess for a lot of players as well. Removing the choice to being able to select maps is not because the developers don't want you choosing what you want to play. The problem is we're at a point where there's no good choice left. Map selection was removed because everybody was queuing up the same 1 to 2 maps all the time, excluding out the other 2. Not only does it not allow you to play those maps, but for the people who are trying to queue into the less popular ones, they may not be aware that the only way they can find a game is by jumping into Erangel or something. This means ultimately queue times for everyone are going to be a little bit slower. This is why random map selection is a thing, so you can still experience all of the maps, maybe just not the one you want all of the time. And yeah, while I don't think this is a perfect solution to the problem, we're at a point where there is no good solution, is kind of what I'm trying to say. The only other thing that I've ever been able to think of with map selection is put players into a lobby once they've queued up and then have a map vote. With 100 people in the lobby, everyone casts their vote for what map they want to play, and just the majority wins. Simple as that. Now, to some degree, that you could argue that's almost the same thing as map selection because people will be voting for likely Erangel and maybe Sanhok. Right now, map selection for everybody is just simply not an option. I wish it didn't have to be this way. It's not my choice, but I'm just trying to help you guys understand why they make that decision. Now, I don't really like to complain about problems and not provide any solutions, or at least in the ballpark of something that could be a fix for it. So let's talk about what could be done about this stuff. The problems that we're facing is that many people can't find games in their region. There's just simply not enough players. And then the content that they do release that's new, there's not enough available players to even queue up for this stuff and even experience it for yourself. So what can be done about that? Just the other week, PUBG merged actually 2 different servers, the Oceanic server and the Asian server, I believe. This was to ideally combine 2 more pools of players to make matchmaking a little bit more quick and easy. And so I'm not sure if that was a success or not because I don't play on the servers, but server merging is honestly, it's not ideal, but again, what other choice do we have? This makes the experience for some players who are on the extreme ends of these regions connecting probably going to have a very poor ping and connection experience, so that's not really ideal either. Honestly, I think there is a solution that could help, but again, is not perfect, and some of you guys might not like what I have to say, but at this point, we have virtually no other options. I've suggested before, and I'm going to suggest it again, that for these queues that just don't get players and physically don't exist as a result, I think the only way to do it is to have bots. Let me be very clear about this as well. I'm not arguing that bots should be in public matches and we should mix up players to have more lobbies and queue times and stuff like that. What I am arguing is for very special game modes such as Bluehole, for example, because there's virtually nobody queuing up for this lobby, maybe the odd couple people here and there, these people should be able to still experience your mode rather than just sitting in a 50-minute queue lobby and then ultimately backing out. In my opinion, it'd be a better solution if 3 or 4 people as a team queue up to Bluehole together and they play against an entire lobby of bots if that were the case. Obviously, if there is enough human players, then that should be prioritized, but I don't think we should be locked out of any content that we want to play. And that's really where the core issue is. PUBG has so much to offer as a game. It has so many experiences for players to have, but much of it is simply unavailable to players. A lot of the experiences and content just seem to be locked out for the average player that just wants to hop on for a day and experience something. Whether it is a permanent map and they want to play a very specific game mode on it, or again, like for example, this new limited time Bluehole mode that's only around for like 2 or 3 days. In my opinion, whatever part of the game a player wants to enjoy is at least better enjoyed with bots rather than not at all. For the more popular queues, like such as, you know, solos and duos and squads, these are obviously going to always have enough real players to not have bots whatsoever. Like, that's not even the issue. The more popular modes pretty much get played all the time and will continue to do so, but these more like fringe and interesting and just kind of dynamic game modes that are different to the casual player and thus are inclined to just kind of skip past them and play what they're comfortable with, I think these particular pieces of content should be filled up with bots. I mean, honestly, at this point, this is the only realistic solution that I can think of. I don't like the idea of them adding new content for us to enjoy, but not even having a guarantee that these experiences are going to be available to us. In my opinion, having a new game mode with bots is better than not playing it at all. And I think PUBG is just kind of late to the party on this. Other BRs have already done bots with, relative success. Fortnite did bots before PUBG did. And as far as I know, they just mix bots into the regular public match queues, and PUBG players just shudder at that idea. I don't even think we need to go that far with it. I am only arguing this for special game modes and stuff. But I guess that could also be extended if need be to any queue that's virtually dead. There should be no shame in adding bots to your game, especially when PUBG has the most different amount of ways to play the game virtually than every other battle royale right now. Just the amount of queues and different region server settings you can play on. I had figured this would be the game that would add bots first. Something needs to be done because this just isn't working for anyone. It's not working for, players. It's not working for content creators. It's probably not even working for the developers. Something needs to change here, and these are the solutions that I can think of. Again, I feel really bad not even being able to show you this new game mode that I was talking about as much as I would have liked to. That's what I wanted to make the video today. I didn't want to sit here and complain about issues that PUBG is having. Today was supposed to be a lot more lighthearted, interesting, and just fun video, but we have to discuss this because I care so much about this game that it hurts. I hope you guys understand that obviously when I criticize this game, it's not me trying to be overly or unnecessarily negative. It's because I want to be as constructive as possible so that we can get the best game experience for everyone. That's all I've ever wanted. I feel like whenever I'm not doing what I can to show off what PUBG's working on and help them get the spotlight they deserve for the new content and, make videos and talk about it, I feel like I'm not doing my duty to you guys and I'm not doing my job properly, and I genuinely feel bad about that. So I would really like to see something happen here because this is just simply not sustainable in its current path. PUBG absolutely has the legs to stand for many, many years to come. I honestly look at Battlegrounds as the CSGO of Battle Royale, where it's basically a timeless game and there's always going to be some kind of audience that has a very hardcore following for this, and I would include myself and likely a lot of you guys watching this video in that camp as well. We're not leaving PUBG anytime soon, and I don't want to give off that idea at all, but there are significant changes that need to be made in order to reestablish the quality of this game that we all expect. I know this game will be around for years to come if handled correctly and if they play the cards right, and so I'm simply trying to help guide this along what I believe to be the right way, at least for now. I'm trying my best to do what I can for this game, and I appreciate what you guys do as a community, and especially a lot of my viewers on this channel that also like to help out. So that being said, a reason why I opened this video is because I want to hear from you guys what you have to say about this. Have you been experiencing the same things that I have, and what would you do about it? Do you agree with the bots idea, at least as a minor fix right now, or what would you do about it? Because this just simply isn't working. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like. I guess it will definitely help it spread to more people, and hopefully we can get this message out there. So thank you guys so much, and also subscribe if you're brand new to the channel. I mean, the support that you have continued to show on this channel also is a reflection to me that this game still has an incredibly passionate fan base. Also, make sure to go ahead and follow me over on Twitch, where I'm going to be streaming. That will be linked down below inside the description. But guys, let me know your feedback on any of this down below in the comment section. But I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next stream or the next video. Have a good one, and peace out.